and now an abridged version of Sonic media from the 90s. I believe the first Sonic the Hedgehog media was a manga, where Sonic was like a 10-year-old kid in Hedgehog Town who, like after getting he and his girlfriend Amy Rose, yes, there's a comic where Sonic and Amy are canon, be happy people, he gets knocked into some hair gel and becomes a superhero, and then fights Eggman, who secretly calls himself Dogman and is a cop. He's secretly a cop. So, the version of Eggman is even more evil. I didn't read much of that. It's like they didn't send it over here. I wish they did. They made it a few volumes. It was pretty fun. They also introduced Charmy in those books. And I think Amy was introduced before Sonic CD. Ain't that a bucket of camels? We then skip to the Deke Entertainment cartoons, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Saddam. Well, that's what we call it, but it's really just Sonic the Hedgehog. I forget where Saddam comes from. As do you all. As best said by Scott Pilgrim, one is a silly comedy where Sonic fights Robotnik, and the other is a dark, airy one where, like, Sonic and friends have to take on a freaking empire of these freaking robots that Sonic can't just spin dash. That pisses off so many game hards, like, hey, Sonic should be able to beat any enemy he wants. He's ultra powerful. Forgetting the fact that in the games, if Sonic runs into a wall wrong enough, he'll fucking die. Yeah. And, the Sonic, the serious one, let's just call it Serious Sonic for now. No, Sonic Saddam. Like, they decided, hey, you know what Sonic doesn't have? A love interest. Let's give Sonic a love interest. And then they made Sally Acorn based on, who was it? The Ricky character? One of those little animal friends. Literally 2 freaking weeks later, or 3 weeks, a few weeks later, Sonic CD comes out, and they introduce Amy Rose. This was the most avoidable ship war of all time, and the only reason it wasn't possibly avoided was because Sega wouldn't tell them, hey, Sonic gets a love interest, so don't make a love interest with him. It's all on you, Sega. But back to the, outside of love interest, another character that just became tragically redundant was Rotor the Walrus, who was like the tech guy, and the writers didn't know, Tails is the tech guy. We didn't tell you because we're jerks. Before any of you game hards say it, no, they didn't. There was nothing in Sonic 2 that implied Tails that was a genius. Shut your mouth. And then you got, like, the comics. You got the good one, became good, Sonic the Comic by Fleetway Comics, which was kind of more of an anthology book. It wasn't just Sonic. There was a bunch of Sega properties in there, like some video games, Decap Attack. Like, people wrote in to keep that comic. Very beloved. It was very fun. And then the Sonic Archie comics, which from 1990-something to 2005, or 1990-something to 2000-something, had no idea what the fuck they were supposed to be. See, normally when a comic has a run, you have one writer do one story for a bit, then you give it to another writer, and the previous writer fucks off for all eternity. Not Archie Sonic. Archie Sonic would be constantly switching between head writers, creating an absolutely chaotic narrative mess. Some stories were silly, some were way too serious, and then you got the weird spin-offs, like with the Tails one where he goes to, like, Down Under and, like, beats a crocodile man. It's pretty cool. Then you got the Knuckles books where not much actually happens and there's confusing Nazi metaphors. It was a lot. It was a lot. Somewhere along the line they made, like, Sonic Underground after Sonic Saddam got canceled. Created by the same people as Saddam, but they were able to make a new Sonic series, but weren't allowed to continue from the previous show because of some sort of nonsense. I don't know. But hey, it also featured Knuckles' grandpa, or great-grandpa from the comics, Athair. Yeah, he was in that. Or was it Grandpa? I forget, you forget, we're all gonna die. Everything seemed copacetic until Sonic Adventure when they finally started adding lore to Sonic for some reason, and that's when things got really confusing. Especially Ken Penders bitching because they say that, hey, you copied my idea of a tribal society of echidnas. Yeah. Ignoring the fact that a French comic, Sonic Adventure, yeah, I mentioned that before, had a tribal race of echidnas. Ken Penders is a hack. And, from then on, they had to, keep adapting the new game lore into their new stories, and it just got chaotic and crazy. Sonic the comic ended on a Sonic Adventure story, bittersweet but good. Sonarchi ended on a to be continued as a sort of, not a hollow shell of what it once was, but thanks to the pendering, they had to edit a bunch of stuff around. So, there you go. Either way, I was raised on a lot of that. Not so much the British comics, but definitely the American cartoons and American comics. And they shaped me. And I love the games, but the media that was inspired by that, kind of matters to me more, just a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I love Sonic games. I'm getting so many this month and the next month. Finally getting Sonic Killers Ultimate. But yeah, man, bring me back the Freedom Fighters. But tell Ken Penders to stay away. He knows what he did. Ben Hurst is spitting on him from heaven.